I'm 38M, married to my wife Leah, 36F, for 8 years. We met in our late 20s at a work conference, bonded over shared hobbies like weekend hikes and trying new restaurants, and things moved fast. We were engaged within a year, married the next, and everything felt right, except for the kids part. Early in our relationship, we tried for a family, but tests revealed I was infertile due to complications from a childhood illness. It hit me like a truck. I'd always picture myself as a dad, coaching Little League or teaching bike rides. Leo was supportive at first, saying we could adopt, use donors, or even go child-free if that's what it took. She assured me our love was enough, but just 6 months into dating, before we were fully exclusive, Leah got pregnant. She broke down and confessed it was from a drunken mistake, a one-night stand with a coworker named Ben during a work trip. She swore it was a one-time thing, that she'd cut him off immediately and begged me not to leave. I was devastated, but I loved her and saw a chance to be a father despite my infertility. When our son Max was born, now 7, I was in the delivery room, cutting the cord, and I signed the birth certificate without hesitation. No paternity test. I didn't want to know if there was even a slim chance it could be mine. I threw myself into being dad, changing diapers, midnight feedings, everything. Over the years, though, the resentment crept in like a slow poison. Leah's job in sales means she's on the road a lot, closing deals and traveling for conferences, so I've been the primary parent. I work IT from home, which lets me handle the daily grind, packing lunches, driving to school, helping with math homework that frustrates him, coaching his soccer team on weekends, and dealing with the endless parent-teacher conferences. Max is a wonderful kid, curious, kind-hearted, with my sense of humor, or so people say. But every milestone twists the knife. At his first birthday party, watching him smash cake while guests cooed over how much he looked like Leah, I forced a smile, but felt hollow. During his kindergarten graduation last year, as he beamed on stage, I couldn't shake the thought that none of this was truly mine. I buried it deep, pasting on happiness for family photos, holidays, and bedtime stories, but it's exhausted me. I've gained weight from stress eating, lost sleep to racing thoughts, and even snapped at Max over small things like spilled juice, hating myself for it afterward. I've tried therapy alone, journaling my feelings, even joining online support groups for stepdads, but nothing sticks. Lately, it's hit a breaking point. I'm detached, going through motions, and the pretending is killing me inside. Last night, after reading Max's favorite dinosaur book and tucking him in, I couldn't hold it anymore. Leah and I were in the kitchen, and I just unloaded. I'm exhausted from raising a child that's not mine, and I can't keep pretending to be happy about it. Every day reminds me of what I can never have, and it's breaking me. She stared at me, stunned, then her face crumpled. She called me selfish for dropping this bomb now, after years of me acting like everything was fine. You promised to be his dad forever, she said through tears. How could you say this? You're going to destroy him. We fought until she grabbed a blanket and slept on the couch. Now she's barely speaking, avoiding eye contact over breakfast, and I'm left wondering if I've wrecked our family for good. Am I in the wrong for unloading this after all these years? Or should I have kept sucking it up and spared everyone the pain? Update 1. Thanks for the tough love. Many of you said my feelings were valid, but the timing and delivery sucked, pointing out how it could traumatize Max, and it pushed me to face the fallout head-on. Quick update, because things spiraled fast with more revelations, and I'm questioning if our marriage can survive this raw honesty. Recapping quickly, I've been raising Max, 7M, as my own since birth, knowing he's from Leah's one-night stand with coworker Ben before we were exclusive. My infertility made it a painful reminder, but I buried the resentment until it boiled over last night. I told Leah I'm exhausted pretending to be happy about raising a child that's not mine. She called me selfish, accused me of blindsiding her, and we've been at odds since, with tension thick enough to cut during morning routines. After my post, I couldn't let it fester, so I suggested we talk that evening after Max was asleep. We sat at the kitchen table, and I tried to explain deeper how the daily reminders, like helping Max with a family tree project at school where he asked why he didn't look like me, chipped away at me. How I'd smile through his soccer games, but feel like an imposter when parents complimented our son. Leah listened at first, her eyes welling up, and admitted she'd noticed my distance, like how I'd zone out during family dinners or skip bedtime stories some nights. She said she thought it was just work stress and that I'd gotten over the biology thing years ago, especially since Max adores me, calling me dad and drawing pictures of us as superheroes. But then she dropped a bomb that floored me. She'd done a secret paternity test when Max was 2, using a home kit without telling me. It confirmed Ben is the bio dad, no doubt. She hid it because Ben had ghosted her after the pregnancy news, wanting nothing to do with the kid, and she feared if I knew for absolute sure it wasn't mine, even that tiny would have hope gone, I'd bail on the family we'd built. I was scared, she whispered, tears streaming. You were so good with him. and I didn't want to lose that. I was furious. My voice shook as I asked why she'd lie for years, making me feel like a fool playing house on false pretenses. This secrecy made everything worse. I shot back. It's like you trapped me in this role. We argued for hours, her defending it as protecting our family, me feeling betrayed that she'd robbed me of the choice to walk away early. By the end, she agreed to couples therapy, booking our first session for tomorrow, but the air was poisoned. Max must have overheard the raised voices because he patted downstairs asking, "Are you and mommy fighting? Are we still a family?" It gutted me. I hugged him tight, promising we'd figure it out, but inside I was crumbling. Then her mom called the next morning, having heard from Leah, and laid into me, "How dare you abandon that boy after all these years? You're his father in every way that matters." I'm torn. Do I push through therapy and try to rebuild? Or is this web of lies the end? How do you even start to rebuild after hidden truths like this come out? Update 2. The mess deepened, and it's tearing everything apart piece by piece. Your advice to involve a neutral third party, get legal counsel on paternity rights, and prioritize Max's well-being was key, but a curveball from the past changed the game entirely. Update coming because an unexpected confrontation forced brutal choices and hard lines, building on the resentment confession, the paternity lie revelation, and our rocky therapy start. To recap the full picture so far, I confessed to Leah that raising Max, not biologically mine from her pre-relationship fling with Ben, has left me exhausted and unable to pretend happiness anymore, compounded by my infertility grief. This unraveled into heated fights where she admitted doing a hidden paternity test years ago, confirming Ben as the bio dad, which she concealed to keep me committed and protect the family. We started couples therapy amid the tension, but Max overheard arguments, and her family accused me of abandonment, adding to the emotional storm. Our first therapy session 2 days ago was a complete disaster. The counselor, a no-nonsense woman with experience in blended families, pushed for total honesty right away. Leah went first, explaining how she noticed my growing detachment, like how I'd stopped initiating family game nights or would stare blankly during Max's excited stories about school. But then she revealed even more. The fling with Ben wasn't just a one-off drunken mistake, as she'd originally claimed. It happened while we were dating casually, overlapping with our first few dates. She'd been seeing him sporadically and only fully ended it after confirming the pregnancy, choosing me because Ben bailed when she told him, and I was the stable option. "I was young and scared," she said, voice breaking. "I picked you because I knew you'd be a great dad." The room spun. I felt like the ground dropped out. So our whole start was built on a lie. I demanded, my hands shaking. "You overlapped us and then locked me in with a kid that's not mine?" The therapist tried to mediate, but I stormed out, slamming the door, my mind racing with betrayal. That night, the situation exploded further when Ben reappeared out of nowhere. Turns out, Leah had reached out to him after our initial blow-up, panicked that I might leave, and hoping he'd finally step up as a backup. He showed up at our door unannounced, a stocky guy in his late 30s I'd only seen in old photos, demanding to talk. "Leah told me everything," he said gruffly on the porch. "I want a DNA test and time with my son. I've changed, got my life together now." Leah froze in the doorway, begging him to back off. "You didn't want this 7 years ago. Don't do this now." I stepped in, anger boiling. "Get off my property. You ghosted them, and now you think you can waltz in?" Max heard the commotion and hid in his room, crying, which snapped us all back. Ben left after threatening legal action, but the damage was done. Leah and I fought again that night. She accused me of pushing her to contact him by quitting as dad and unloading my resentment, while I fired back that her endless lies started this nightmare. Therapy's on hold while we cool off, and I've been crashing at a friend's place for a few days, barely sleeping as I weigh my options. I consulted a lawyer yesterday about my rights. Since I'm on the birth certificate, I'm legally dad, but Ben could challenge. Is walking away making me the villain here? Or is this marriage too broken to fix with all the deception? Update 3. Wrapping this up with a full resolution, as the dust has settled in a way that's far from perfect, but gives everyone a path forward, even if it's paved with loss and hard lessons. The perspectives here help me prioritize Max while facing hard realities, seek legal advice early, and focus on some form of closure. Thank for the push that kept me from imploding completely. To recap the entire story, it started with me confessing to Leah that raising Max, from her fling with Ben, not biologically mine, has left me exhausted and unable to pretend happiness amid my infertility pain, with daily reminders like school projects and soccer games wearing me down. This unraveled into fights, her admitting a hidden paternity test confirming Ben as bio dad, which she concealed to keep me around, and further revelations that the fling overlapped our early dating, making our foundation feel like a sham. Tensions peaked with a disastrous therapy session exposing more lies. Ben showing up at our door, demanding involvement after Leah contacted him in panic and chaos that terrified Max, leading to me temporarily leaving and legal consultations. After Ben's intrusion and our blowout, we hit rock bottom fast. Emergency mediations through a family counselor, separate solo therapy for each of us, and legal steps to sort the paternity mess. Leah finally owned her deceptions in full during a joint session, admitting her fear of single motherhood after Ben ghosted her drove every choice. The overlapping fling, hiding the test, even contacting him recently as a desperate backup plan. I was selfish and scared, she said, sobbing. But I do love you, and I never meant to trap you. It didn't erase the betrayal for me. I shared how the years of pretending had eroded my sense of self, leaving me a shell who resented even the joyful moments with Max, like his excited hugs after a goal. The therapist noted patterns from Leah's own unstable childhood, but for me, the trust was shattered beyond repair. Ben pushed hard for partial custody at first, getting his own DNA test that confirmed everything, but family court mediations dragged on for weeks. He backed off when the judge emphasized the responsibility, settling for occasional supervised visits every other month, starting with neutral playground meetups, so Max could adjust slowly without upheaval. It was a relief in a way. Max is curious about Ben, but still clings to me as dad, which bittersweetly validates the bond we built. Leah and I tried reconciling through more counseling, setting boundaries like no more secrets and shared parenting duties, but the resentment lingered like a shadow. I couldn't shake the exhaustion or the feeling of being a second-choice placeholder, and she couldn't fully forgive what she saw as my abandonment by voicing it all now. After months of trying, we separated amicably 6 months ago, finalizing a divorce without much courtroom drama. We split assets fairly, and I kept our dog for company. I moved to a small apartment nearby to stay involved, and we share custody of Max. I'm still legally his dad via the birth certificate, with Ben's role limited. It's working okay. Max spends weekdays with Leah for school stability, weekends with me for hikes and movie nights like old times. He's in kid therapy to process the changes, and while he misses our house, he's resilient, drawing pictures of all 3 dads now. Leah's moved on, dating casually and focusing on her career, and we've reached a civil co-parenting rhythm. No more fights, just practical texts about schedules. For me, stepping back has lifted the daily weight. I'm sleeping better, hitting the gym, and even exploring fertility treatments like adoption or donors for a future family of my own. But it's lonely. I miss the little moments with Max, and holidays feel hollow without the full family unit. What we had ended as a casualty of buried truths and unspoken pain. But life goes on, imperfect but honest, with Max's well-being as the one win in the mess.